Good evening, Royals. And Royals is genderless. It's safe for all of us, and so it includes all of us. So when I say Royals, that means us all, okay? So good evening, Royals.
Good evening.
My name is Shayla Demure. I am the founder, the president, and the CEO of Unique Women's Coalition.
Woo!
We are the Black trans-led organization here in Southern California. We're here tonight. You know what? Let me get all my folks up here. Come on through. Come on up here. I want to see something. Oh, you get my lighting? Is my lighting good? All right. Come on up here. Come on, my folks. Come on up here. All y'all. Let's go. Look at all this beautifulness. Look at all this ebony. All this perfection. This is what our troop looks like. Okay, give them a round of applause for coming out, to showing up, and living their truth. We're here tonight as examples of unyielding resiliency.
Yes!
Can I get an amen?
Amen!
Tonight is about building community, centering Black trans voices, but most importantly, tonight is about provoking thought and action. So without any further ado, I'd like to bring Jaden to the microphone for a healing moment.
Woo!
Thank you all for being here. I just wanted to take an opportunity to ground us in why we're here. So if you feel able and willing, could you close your eyes for a moment? And if you don't want to close your eyes, could you just soften your gaze a little bit? And just find your breath. We're gonna just take 3 collective breaths. The first one is to center why we're here, to center who we're here for, to center how important it is that you're here. So we're all just gonna breathe in when I say, okay? Inhale. Exhale. This next breath is for yourself, to honor the fact that you are still here, to honor the fact that we are still here. So breathe in and breathe out. And this last breath is specifically for our kindred who have recently become ancestors. We're gonna breathe in and breathe out. You can open your eyes now and look to the people around you and just repeat after me. I see you.
I see you. I see you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
You matter to me.
You matter to me.
I love you.
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 Thank you.
Black trans lives ain't matter where.
Trans matter, yes.
Black trans lives ain't matter matter where.
Black trans lives, they matter.
Yeah, black trans lives ain't matter where.
Black trans lives, they matter where.
Black trans lives ain't matter where.
Black trans lives, they matter where.
Black trans lives ain't matter where.
Black trans lives, they matter where.
Whew, yes. Yes, y'all. So, my name's Chella. I can only talk about myself in 30 seconds. I am a black trans, disabled organizer, activist. I've been doing the work for a while. Doing work with Black Lives Matter, which they suck because they're anti-trans. Been doing a lot of other work. Bridging the gap between the state violence and communal violence, talking about how it's all colonial violence.
Yeah.
And I actually want to open up with remembering that we are on Tongva land, right?
Yeah,
As
right
a descendant of slaves, I am on Tongva land, and I will not forget that. And also, I'd be amiss to remember our sisters and our gender nonconforming folks who are being locked up in detention centers right now and in prisons.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
So I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna call shit out, because that's what I do best. If y'all know my post, y'all know how I am, and y'all know I call shit out.
Right on.
So number one, if you white, give reparations to black trans women.
Right
If you
on.
white, give reparations to those in detention centers,
Right
so
on.
we don't have to go sucking no dick.
Right on.
So we don't have to go looking for no house to suck dick at to stay.
Right on.
Right?
Yeah.
I know this, what I gotta say ain't really politically correct, but I don't give a fuck. Because motherfuckers want reparations.
Right on.
Number two, no cops. Fuck the police. They
Yeah.
kill black people
Yeah.
every fucking day. They kill trans black women. There's a lot of stories of black trans women getting harassed and being called mentally ill. 5150. I even did a story about that a few months ago. So remember, no cops, because cops equal violence. Okay, are y'all with me?
Yeah.
And I would also, thank you, yes. I would also be amiss to not remember that there are folks that have fought against state violence and fought against communal violence and survived. Y'all know Cece McDonald?
Yeah.
Watch her fucking documentary. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Do y'all know about Isha Love?
Yeah.
A black trans woman that survived, right?
Yeah.
We would be remiss to remember that we are warriors.
Yeah.
In two-spirit cultures, we are warriors. We are the seers. We are the healers.
Yeah.
So fuck colonization.
Yeah.
Fuck capitalism.
Right on.
And remember, if folks are on the street doing what they got to do to survive, don't fucking shame them.
Right
Are
on.
you paying their rent?
Yeah.
Are you paying their rent? I
Yeah.
mean, like literally.
Literally.
We are literally bleeding out here. And there are so many people, even on like these threads, trans black women calling these women out and saying, oh, well, they shouldn't have been acting crazy. Motherfucker, through the white supremacy and patriarchy and transphobia, that's what makes us crazy.
Yeah.
One more thing, y'all, and then I'm gonna go.
No.
Repeat after me. It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect one another.
We must love and protect one
We have
another.
nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
I'm a rocker, so I'm gonna do it yelling. I'm gonna channel my ancestors. It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect each other.
We must love and protect each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chain.
We have nothing to lose but our
We can do it
chains.
one more, y'all. Let the heavens hear us. Inhale. It is our duty to fight for freedom.
It is our duty to fight for
It
freedom.
is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and protect one another.
We must love and protect one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chain.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chain.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Fuck the state. Fuck America. Fuck US. And fuck transphobia.
Thank you, and that was Chella.
Right on, lady. Right on, lady.
she wanted me to speak tonight, I gathered my thoughts together so I can tell it from my heart. I did not come here to be your form of embarrassment. I did not come here to be walked on underneath your feet. I did not come here to be pointed at and ridiculed because I wanted to wear my short skirt. I was not brought here for your entertainment purposes, only to be the laughing stock of your party. I did not come here to serve you and make you supreme. I did not come here to be unworthy of your love. I did not come here to be the quiet storm. I came here to be the tsunami. To live, learn, and to be heard. I did not come here to be afraid and run from you. I did not come here to live in fear. I did not come here to not be seen. I want the world to see me in all of my glorious, colorful splendor. I did not come here to be silenced or by your filthy, dirty hands. Your heart is so cold. Who has decided you could live and not me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not come here to just walk away. I will keep coming. I will keep coming. I will keep coming back. I will keep coming until you remember my face and recognize I am fired up and I can't take it no more.
Wow!
Good evening. My name is Xavier. I am here not just as a trans man, not just as a black man, but as a part of a larger community. A community that is resourceful, that is resilient. We have no native tongue, but we speak in our vernacular. And the words are really simple. Not today. Not today. Not ever. We will not be silenced. We will not be erased. We are here to stay. We are one community. It's not about who has what and who has this. Today and every day we come together and we say no more.
No more.
Not today, not ever. That's it.
Right on. Yeah.
Good evening, community. My name is Carlisha Brown. And I have some thoughts I'd like to share with you. Community, it's a scary time, and it's all caught on camera. We all have the receipts. Since the Trump administration, we have seen a 200% spike against hate crimes regarding queer black men. We have also seen a spike in the documented, and I use that word loosely, documented killing of trans black folk, with 2017 being the recorded highest time for killings amongst trans women. Again, recorded. I use that word loosely. Yes, ma'am. 5 children this year have died in the care of ICE, a new phenomenon. And the honesty behind the racist rhetoric of this land is something we can no longer turn the cheek to. Trans people, I love you. Please love yourself. I stand with you. Please stand for yourself. I fight with you and for us. Meet me in the front line. My message is, find your sisters and brothers and families and hold on tight. Locally, the Trans Latina Coalition and the Unique Women's Coalition, as well as the Gender Justice LA, are here to love on you. Let them. Like the Montgomery bus strike, put your money in spaces that rally and fight with us and alongside us. Stand strong in who you are and for what you stand for, and leave no family member behind. To the privileged and marginalized members of our community, remember that this is an us and not an I, and make your moves strategic. Please understand that 50 years ago, historically shifting magic happened at Stonewall. And please understand that we possess that same fury and fight of our ancestors. And our fight is not over until all lives matter. Allies, this message is for you. cisgender, heterosexual, and queer alike. I have been to the rallies. I have stood up in the face of adversity, even at times putting my life on the line for what was right. I've used my voice, stance, and platform to combat the abortion ban, the police killings of cis black men and black women, the Women's March, standing with the natives combating the pipeline, the Muslim ban, the mistreatment of our immigrants and their children, the No Hate campaign, just to name a few. What I know is we all deserve a fair and healthy space to exist in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Allies, we need you. We need you to stand up when you see something wrong. We need you to stand up when you hear something wrong. And in the times of social media, when you view something wrong. The fight for equality and equity is real. This pain is real. These lives lost are real. I implore you to find your humanity, to find that same energy you request when you find yourself in the face of adversity, to take yourself to the polls, and when voting, remember that it takes a community. If I leave here and leave you with anything, please understand to take the time to deconstruct this next statement. Together we stand, divided we fall. The word together means with or in the proximity of another person or people. There was no gender listed, there was no sexuality listed, there was no color listed. Together. The action items here is to become gender, color, and sexuality blind in the face of humanity and civil rights. It takes a community, and the time is now. Community, our fight is far from over. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Octavia.
Okay, most of you know my name is Octavia, and you know I'm a strong black trans woman for real. Y'all done seen me, you know I don't play, I own my strength and I own my power, and I don't conform for nobody. Y'all know my shit is real 100%. Very authentic, okay? I'm gonna read something from Malcolm X, one of the very few black men that I actually respect. What he says is, we cannot think of being acceptable to others until we have first proven acceptable to ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
Every time you walk out your damn door and you have that truth that you love who you are, that's the most powerful statement you can ever make. I don't give a damn what your accomplishments are. If you walk out your door and you're true to yourself, that's the most powerful statement you can make. Now, I saw the video, and this is where I'm coming from, right? I'm on my truth, right? I was disturbed, I was heartbroken, and I said, what can I do? Because see, this is the thing, I'm gonna give you a real conversation. We all like fucking thugs, right? Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Thank you, some real bitches up in here. Don't play with me. They need to be healed, okay? When I talk to them, because I love black men, I do. And most of the time, most of the time we get heterosexual black men, correct? Yeah, let's tell some truth, honey. We gotta bring some shit out of the closet, okay? I have an opportunity to heal that brother. He can't just be a sex object. Black men are hurting. They are. They're hurting. We have got to have real, authentic conversation with them. You know how I know black men are hurting? Because I talk to them. I just don't fuck them. I talk to them.
Yeah.
They're human beings. When I saw the video, I'm like, okay, God, what can I do? What can I do to make the situation better? This is one component, but I gotta go in the field. I can't act like there's a separation between me and that black man. There isn't. He has shame, oppression. His mother, he didn't get nurtured. A lot of black women are not nurturers, and guess whose job that is? Ours. Whether you like it or not, honey. Whether you like it or not. That's the only way we're going to stop this bullshit. We have to have open dialogue. That's what I'm trying to say. We have to have open dialogue. We can't treat them like they're against us. They're not. I talk to black men every fucking day. And they're in pain. When I get past the penis, they're in pain. They're oppressed. They're filled with shame and self-doubt. We have to start having more authentic conversations. We are not separate from him, honey. You never know, he might be one of us. But might just need the courage to come out and pull him out. So this is where I have to check my shit. I have to make sure that I'm really a strong black woman and not perpetrating. That's just for Octavia. It's time that we bridge the gap. They're not separate from us. If we just sit down and talk to these angry brothers, they're not angry at us. It's called misdirected rage, trust me. And I'm gonna give you some real authentic conversation. Cause I'm really,
Right on. Keep on.
They aren't mad at us. You don't shoot a black man's son, right? And he's supposed to forgive you. Who do you think he's gonna take that rage out? The rage gotta go somewhere. Where do you think he's gonna take it out? On the black trans woman. Exactly, it's misdirected rage. We have to start talking. And so that's what I do. I talk to him, I'm compassionate. You know, I sit down and I listen. That wasn't the old Octavia. I was really selfish and self-centered, but God had to work on my heart. You know, I'm a Christian all day. And so I have to realize, what can I do in that spectrum to bring healing? That means I gotta talk to him. See what he's angry about. See, I don't have a mother either. You know why? Because she can't be a part of my life because she doesn't honor my journey. So when I talk to that brother, oh shit, his mother doesn't honor his journey, so guess what, brother? I can teach you and give you some tools on how I'm still navigating this thing called life. You want to promote healing? Start talking to them and stop fucking them. And then putting them out. And then talking to them like they trash and no good. That black man and black brother is a child of God. And we'll stop this. But I'm going to tell you, freedom is very intimidating. We some bad bitches, honey. I'm going to say it. We some bad bitches, honey. We come out every fucking day and say, well, who the fuck we are. Not too many motherfuckers can do this, okay? So we gotta own that shit. We come out every fucking day and say, bitch, I'm here. What's up? A lot of these motherfuckers can't do it. So we have to start having an open mind. And when God puts that man in front of me, guess what? That's a human being. He's not a walking penis. He's a human being with problems. So that's my shit.
Woo! Right on, lady. Right on, lady.
Good evening.
Woo!
My name is ACLU, and I'm a black man of trans experience.
Woo! Right on.
I didn't prepare anything, and I did so for a reason, because I wanted to talk from my heart in the moment, in the space that I was in, and I couldn't prepare myself for this authentically. And I think the first thing I want to say, I too often say the wrong things. I have never been an advocate. I've never been to a rally. I've never involved myself, honestly, in anything like this. But I've been taught that when you're wrong, you promptly admit it. And you follow up as fast as you can with an effort to make amends. And what I'm saying is not an exhibition of martyrdom, but I chose to be blind to what was happening. I chose to live a life where I could be stealth and fly under the radar and be undetected. And I was comfortable there. And as I began to open my eyes, I cast the soft gaze. I didn't look hard at what was happening. But once I did open my eyes, once the veil was lifted, I couldn't bring it back down. And so my apology is for myself, but I'm gonna put myself out on the line, on the limb, to apologize for my male counterparts as well. men in general at large, but also trans men, specifically black trans men, who have not been involved in this fight, who have not stood up, who have remained silent and continue to remain silent. We're wrong. We're wrong for it. And I think what I'm realizing now, and like I said, I don't always have the right words, but what I'm realizing now is that the reason why I get to exist this way is really on the backbone of trans women. I realize that trans women have been on the front lines of the reason why we get to exist like this, why I get to look like this. It wasn't us. We didn't do it. Trans men didn't do it. Cis men didn't do it. Cis women didn't do it. I was able to wash away the old me in the tears of black trans women and trans women at large. And as I walk, the blood that pumps through me and the way that it gets to now in my authenticity is the blood that was shed by these women. And I recognize that now. I wish that I recognized it before, but I didn't. But now that I do, you know, as men, we want to fix things. We want to jump in and fix things and think that we know how. But that's not my place. I was actually very kindly reminded of that last night. That as a man, that is not my place. My place is to ask the appropriate questions and to listen and to take as minimal space as I can, but to be there. So I'll stop.
Right on, brother. Right on.
First of all, thank everybody for being here tonight. My name is Fatima Malika Shabazz. I'm a formerly incarcerated African-American trans woman, and I'm a soldier in this fight. Better yet, I'm a general in this fight. And I stand next to generals who stand side by side with the soldiers on the front lines of this fight. And what I need people to understand is this. I don't care if you have an adversarial position with me. It was once said that the hardest job in America is being an African-American man. And the most dangerous job in America is being an African-American man. So I'm gonna tell you something, stand a moment in my shoes. Be me for a day. Stand in my shoes, see what I see, pay my type of dues, and then come to me with your bullshit blues. I don't really want to hear that. I don't care about that. I'm not really passive, so if I'm a little aggressive, don't be alarmed. If you're family, you're cool. If you're not, keep your distance, watch your tone, keep your hands to yourself. Simple as that. But I'm tired of every day picking up the paper, looking at my phone, watching the news, and seeing another one of my sisters went down, and people stood around and watched that. And we have an administration that condones that. Whether it be formally or informally, they condone that. And I find it not only oppressive and disrespectful and disingenuous that the only time that hate crime laws protect anyone is they protect the people who are the aggressors. It's bad that you can attack me, and when I whip your ass, which I will do, then I'm the one who's criminalized for that.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
That's disrespectful to me. That's disrespectful to my people. And it's disrespectful to the fact that we have a hate law. So what's the point in having a hate law that is an unenforceable law, with the exception of being enforced against the people that it's being written to protect? That makes absolutely no sense at all. So my position, again, is still the same. Watch your mouth, watch your tone, keep your distance, keep your hands to yourself. If you bother my trans women in my cipher, and all of you are in my cipher, I'm going to deal with you. Period. I will not allow this. I can't allow this. I don't want to be passive about it because people don't understand passivity. So you can't reason with a bully. You can punch a bully in the face and they get that. Bullies don't understand negotiation. What they understand is a whooping in their ass. And the way that we do that is by these things. The way that we do that is we influence policy, we write bills, we learn how to write these bills, and we go to the Senate and we stand in front of them and we say, look, man, we're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, and if not, this is what we're gonna do. And we're gonna get bigger, we're gonna get better, we're gonna get stronger, and we're gonna make this happen. And if you're out there and you're an ally and you just out here because you think that this is a good place to be, you're in the wrong place, go home.
Right on. Yeah. Right on.
But if you want to stand in this fight, I got you. Every day, all day, 24/7, I got you. If you're out there and you take an adversarial position against us and you feel like you feeling the way about this, I suggest you go home because this ain't gonna be nothing but a bad night for you. So again, thank you for coming. My name is Fatima Malika Shabazz. Appreciate it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa. Yes. I don't have to get that close. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michelle. I was asked to speak earlier today, and I didn't know what I was going to speak about. Honestly, I still don't know. So I'm just going to speak from my heart, and hopefully it touches a few of you out there. I can only speak from my experience and starting my transition and not really paying attention to anything besides myself and focused on myself and what I needed to do and not the people around me. One, because I didn't see a lot of trans women that was worthy of looking up to in my eyes at that moment. Until I got comfortable into my transition, did I start to see the world through a different lens and recognize that, or be comfortable with me and recognize that I had pretty privilege and passing privilege. And it became comfortable, and to navigate these streets were a lot easier. But now that I am, or have a platform, and these murders are like publicized through social media, and we're losing all these transgender sisters, black trans women. I feel a duty to say something about it, speak out about it, because not everybody is capable of maybe doing the things that I do, or some of my sisters around here. You know, it is very real to be able to just live in society on a day-to-day and just kind of sift through, sort through, and not be bothered, right? So I wanted to have a voice and speak up for the women who are gone, and also for the women who are here, and celebrate their lives, and also celebrate the women that are here. And so I do so through social media. I don't do very well with speaking in front of crowds. So I actually I get to gather my thoughts and write, and so it feels a little bit better that way. But what I want to challenge people today is to do the healing, right, within yourselves, because we all have suffered trauma. It's very hard to go within, but once you go within, that's the only time that you will be able to accept yourself and everyone around you. And I think that's what's missing more than anything, is that we are not allowing each other to live. We're not loving ourselves, and so in turn we're not loving everybody around us. It is about Black Trans Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Tonight, right? But it's bigger than that. It is about human liberation. You know, there's so many things that are going on right now, and this is just one. Right now, this is an epidemic. There's a lot going on, though. So I challenge you guys to open your eyes and let love in, be love around you, and that's the only way that you can make a difference. That's the only way. Live your true, authentic self, and you never know who is watching you. There are a lot of followers. It takes a lot to be a leader. And so if you just be your best self, then maybe you will inspire somebody to do the same. That's all I have.
Good evening. I'm back. I just wanted to share something for my kindred, for the other trans, non-binary, and intersex people here tonight, and for our kindred that we just lost. This is for you, and this is for us. Love. There are things we always know. The moment fear slips sharply into breath, the tremor in each step, the sadness curling like a quiet hum into chest, the deep ache that comes when they refuse to see you, the venom in their voices when they misname you. They're cannibals, consuming the supple fierce of you, clawing every sprout yet never see your bloom. The ways they claim you this and call you that, this or that, never this, never that, always body, never human, as if you were just body in all of your too much. Too much body, but not enough blood. Too much body, but not enough reason to stay. Too much body, but still no body. Too much, but never enough. As if you ain't sacred conjuring. As if you ain't draped in goddess kisses every day. As if you don't adorn yourself in resilience. As if every breath ain't an act of resistance. As if you ain't stardust brilliance. As if we ain't the holiest of magic. Love. This I also know. I will not let them forget you. I will not let them mock all the ways of your becoming. I will hold your name tender in my mouth. Every breath, a prayer for you. Every breath, a prayer for me. Every breath, a prayer for us. Love. I know that every breath is a prayer. Ashe.
Hello everyone, my name is Gia Banks. Shayla asked me yesterday to speak in originally I was a little apprehensive just because it's a really sensitive topic for me. It makes me extremely emotional just to see my sisters dwindle by just being who they are and just loving themselves genuinely. So for me, I started to do a little homework last night, and I just kind of took a lead at the last 3 years of the people that have died, and what I genuinely understood and took heed to most is most of the stories and narration, they end with no leads. And that is just kind of mind-blowing for me, that there are so many trans people that have died and we have no end to their stories. So for me personally, it just kind of blows me away and baffles me that there are murderers, there are people that are genuinely getting away with these type of crimes. And it's just important that we are not naive to that, and that we're vocal about it, and that we're visible about it. So just seeing all of these people out here today is just a great experience, and I just truly hope that our community can continuously stand together, because at this point we're kind of all we have, you know. And I think that what also needs to be taken heed to is a lot of our fellow brothers and sisters, I personally feel like should be here tonight. And that is something that we should all take home today, is just a little bit of a message in deliverance to our community, and to help them understand that their visibility is important and it holds value. Yeah. So please leave here today and make sure to tell a friend what's going on, how valuable our lives are, and how much you're willing to create a difference.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Get this out. Hi.
Hi.
My name is Miss Beasley. They call me. That's what they call me. That's my name. Actually, it's my surname. But I'm now married. In 2016, my husband passed away. And so after that, I retired. But I'm a voice in the wilderness. And that wilderness is approximately 5th Street through 18th to, let's say, Washington. I advocate for the girls that are in Skid Row. I've been advocating for them for many years. As I walk through the alleys at night and see them living in their tents and surviving, that's what they're doing, surviving with no help. Many of them have mental issues, and there's no help. There's no help whatsoever for them. And being a voice for them has really given me a reason to live, you know, a reason to fight, a reason to call out, because there's no big eyes or no little U's in this thing here called life, you know. If you just take the time to get to know someone that is in Skid Row, a trans woman, because each and every day I see younger and younger and younger and younger trans women coming to Skid Row.
Yeah.
You know, and each and every day I see younger and younger and younger and younger trans women becoming streetwalkers. You know, so with that being said, I just want y'all to know that there is need for help. There is a need for those girls out there. You know, God has blessed me. I get to get in my 2005 Infinity, and I get to go home and put a key in it. But it wasn't always like that with me. You know, I was out there with them. I was sleeping on the sidewalk with them. I was telling them that there is a better way. Education is the key. I wouldn't care what anyone said, to get out of poverty, you know. And counseling, you know, that's what saved me. So, you know, I just want y'all to know that there's a need here. And so many people drive by and ignore, laugh, but there's no big eyes or no little U's. If I could say, the song says, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you to carry on. Because there's going to come a time when I'm going to need to lean on you. And I believe that this time is when they need someone to lean on. You know, once again, my name is Tony Stubbs. They call me Miss Beasley from Beasley's Outreach. Y'all have a blessed night.
Beautiful one.
Thank you.
Well, alrighty. Hello, everyone. I
Hi.
hope you guys have been enjoying yourself. I have come here on this lovely evening to share my voice. I am a black trans woman, and I am 50 years old. And I don't say that for glamour or for applause. That's just to let you know that I've witnessed a lot of dying black trans women. I've seen the girls die at the hand of hate crimes, at the hand of drugs, at the hand of misunderstandings. And so what I've come to do is just to share and shed light and use my voice just to bring awareness, just to let people know that. See, I walk in my own brand of dignity, and I know everyone doesn't have that power or that I'm lost for words. I can't even get this. But be that as it may, that courage to, you know, wake up and walk out the door and not be ashamed. But my thing is this. Look, everyone has to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
And so what I've always done, I
I never had no respect of person. I don't care where the girl was at in her journey. I always reached a hand out to help her along the way. I never judged no one because I've been there. I've been on drugs, I've prostituted, I've done a lot of different things. But thank God there's someone lend me a hand and showed me the way. So that's what I do. I'm a beacon of light. I'm an old legend. And I go out. I'm one of those girls that get in my car and I go out on those back streets and I give those girls, because I know when I was out there, sometimes I just needed a dress or a heel or a wig or just something to eat. And sometimes that's what I do. You get what I'm saying? And I've lent my couch, I've lent the shoes on my feet to certain girls so they could feel good about themselves. You get what I'm saying? For whatever it was. Sometimes those girls just wanted clean clothes so they could go to school. Sometimes those girls, they needed to feel good about themselves, so I gave them a pair of boots so they could perform. Whatever it was, but I never gave them negativity. So this is what I want you to do, what I want you to do, is lend a hand, lend positivity. I promise you, love is the way. Use your heart. Lead with your heart, not with your mind, not with your fist. Not that it's the wrong thing, because I done popped a few. I tried too, baby. But you know what? Lead with your heart. I love you. Wait. Hold on. There's one important thing. I had a girlfriend from Texas. She came here, loving, genuine heart. Her name was Yasmin. 6 years ago. And she was in an abusive relationship, right? And the reason that the relationship got so abusive was because the guy was on drugs, right? And so what she did while he was in jail, she came up with an escape plan. So some of my girlfriends at Vienna Store helped her. I'm just saying, but they helped her. And they helped her so she could relocate in the valley. And she got in the valley. But when he got out, she wanted to give him his clothes. That man, in a drug-induced state, he killed her, he slayed her, and he stabbed her, and he burned her apartment down. You get what I'm saying? And she died. But you know what? And a lot of people don't remember it. But right now, because I don't know her last name, I want to say her name.
Right on.
Yasmin Paris Payne.
Right
I love
on.
you. You matter. Your blood matters.
Right on, man.
I speak your voice.
Right on.
I speak love into this universe. We receive you. We send you love.
Right on.
Girl, trust me. We love you. We love you. We love you. I just needed to do that. I need to get that off my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Woo!
Good. My name is Fox Giselle Kiva Jackson. I was actually not going to even come here tonight because the fact that I'm really under the weather because of the fact that I'm having like an allergic reaction because I put my makeup on the wrong way and I have like a red eye. So anyways, I wanted to come out here tonight because of the fact that I wanted to express just a lot of gratitude for being a part of this community. I know I haven't always expressed that, but I think that when I look at the situation with the girl that was killed in Texas, I think to myself that could have been me. That could have been any girl, black, trans, or whatever, homosexual, gender non-conforming, you know, they're a part of our family as well. And 2 days ago, my iPhone was in recovery mode. It was out of service. And here it is right here. And this is exactly how I felt about the community and how I still feel about the community to a certain degree as a whole. I feel that the community is out of service
because of the fact that it's failed. It has helped us in a lot of ways, but it's failed us in a lot of ways because of the fact that we come out here and we, basically make up a whole hoopla about how, oh, unity, but then, when that girl is basically in jail or, when she's on her dying bed, then, the girls get very quiet. But then the girls are there to be the first person to show up, to collect the coin or set up a GoFundMe account. Because when I look at the girl in Dallas, I think the thing that angers me the most is that the fact that there was a fundraiser for her, and yet, why was she still in the same neighborhood that she was beat up in? What happened to that money? And that's why I feel like the community, we need to do better. This past month has been a very challenging month for me because of the fact that I was basically falsely accused of something I didn't do. I was arrested, and the culprit that was behind this was my next door neighbor, who was a homosexual man. And when you really get into it, I'm the reason why he's there, because I'm the one that referred him there. And this is how our community has failed us. But am I going to take this anger out on every homosexual? No. I know that he's hurt, but at the same time, one of the things that I know is that I have the power to exercise my voice. And by me exercising my voice, I'm here as a free woman today. Because I had to vindicate myself. And I think that a lot of times that we as trans folks, gender non-conforming, we don't exercise our voice because of the fact that we don't want to be clocked, we don't want to be, we don't want to be spooked or whatever. And, a lot of times we get things that are done wrong to us, and we suffer in stealth. And I'm gonna just say this: if we are going to improve as a community, we need to stop suffering in stealth, and we need to, express ourselves and, let your sister know that you're hurting. So that's all I gotta say about that. Thank you.
Hello guys, my name is Ashley Love, and I'm born and raised in Southern California. Give it up for Southern California. But also, I just wanted to acknowledge that the average age of life for a black or brown woman of transsexual experience or transgender experience is 35. So if you're 35, give it up for yourself. Give it up for us. And also try to have a little bit of compassion too. So today, thank you, Shayla, for inviting me to speak yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm kind of loud. So I kind of wanted to follow up what people were talking about, the woman Malaysia Booker in Dallas. So in short, her name was Malaysia Booker. She was only 23 years old. So in short, in April, she was attacked in a parking lot. The next month, she was killed. She's really been weighing heavy on my heart since that happened. And to be honest, I've been thinking, why didn't her community and allies come, support her? Why did, it was very public what happened to her in April. Why didn't they, just like people said, why didn't they move her out of the neighborhood? Why didn't they offer her support? Why didn't they, offer her, just opportunity? And it's, a lot of times we come together on the Trans Day of Remembrance, which is a very sacred day. But a lot of times we don't see each other until the next November. And a lot of times, these LGBT nonprofits, when one of us is killed, they send out a press release. Oh, this is so sad. Can we have some money? But where does that money really go?
Yes.
Does that money go to support life? Life matters. And that's what I really wanted to talk about today. I feel that I'll be 40 next year. And, I've been doing this work for decades, and there came a point in my activism when I had to choose. Well, I always chose people before profit, which a lot of times meant trans people before LGBT nonprofit, establishment, industrial complex, whatever it's called. And I was punished for it. And it really affected me. But I'm still here. Can't get rid of me that easy. So I just really wanted to just empower people, trans people working within the social justice advocacy establishment to know that you're worth it, and that you're more powerful than you know, and that all these non-trans people making money off trans trauma and trans healthcare and trans lives, that you have the power to say, wait a minute, we need to change the system. These young girls who are being killed, if they had some adequate support, there would be, the numbers would slowly fall. Nobody, when I started off doing advocacy, nobody really wanted to talk about preventative measures. I mean, perhaps maybe for disease and stuff, but not for, housing or violence or social issues and stuff. I really do think that we need to come together and talk about solutions and ways to protect life. And also, so many amazing speakers spoke tonight, but, if you know a trans woman who's, talk to her. If you know a trans woman who is a leader and is always helping people, maybe she might need help too. Trans woman who's always inspiring other people, maybe she needs inspiration. She's always motivating everyone else. Maybe she needs to be, you know what I mean? Don't judge a book by its cover. As trans women, a lot of us were so strong for other people. Sometimes, it's hard, sometimes we're strong for ourselves in a certain context, but sometimes, we do need to be vulnerable, and we do need to, lean on a sister. So, no one is disposable. I saw a white trans man in the audience earlier who was online talking about how, victim blaming black and brown trans women who've been killed. Well, you should have done this, and you should have done this. How dare you? Okay? It was black and brown trans women who started Stonewall. I see you. Okay, I see you. I'm not going to call your name out because we all already know who it is. But my point is our sisters matter. So the next time you think of victim blaming because you're a little celebrity, porn star, whatever, you need to understand that our blood was shed in these streets so you and your privileged ass can have a better life. Okay? So you need to just please be sensitive and be compassionate. You know what I mean? We don't choose to do this work. A lot of us felt compelled to. Just like they were saying, we've lost sisters. We didn't, not all of us were like Caitlyn Jenner. We didn't transition at 50 and oh, this is glamorous, let's be an activist, let's be a philanthropist. Some of us, lost friends very young, and these were sisters to us. I know when I was just going for my family, it was undocumented Latina women and African American trans women who lent a hand to me and lifted me up. I had no one, and it was my sisters who took care of me. And that is why people are like, you sacrificed so much to be that. No, I didn't. This is my family. I'm not going to turn my back on my family. Even those who've turned their back on me. So this woman from Dallas, 23 years old, on film, people, if you see a trans woman being attacked, don't film it. Go help her.
Do something. Action.
Okay? And furthermore, reach out to her. All these nonprofits are making so much money. A case manager should have been at her door saying, how can we help you, sis? How can we help you? It didn't happen. And so, I'm actually going to New York next month to honor the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. I'm a journalist. I've been documenting a lot of
work of the elders, you know, and just making sure that they don't whitewash the Stonewall riots, because they've been doing that. You know, we boycotted that movie when that white gay man from Independence Day, you know, did Stonewall and had a white gay man like replace the Puerto Rican and black trans women. Like, we boycotted that and were very successful. When white gay male elected officials wanted to put a plaque on Stonewall a few years ago that said gay instead of LGBT, we went to that town hall meeting and we shut that shit down. And furthermore. And so I would like to say, as someone who's alive, that it's really hard for me and a lot of trans people on this stage and in the audience, it's really hard for a lot of us to do the work to uplift and sustain life, because the people holding all the resources are the same people we're calling out. So I think it's important that as much as we talk about, you know, the trauma and despair of losing life, can we please also talk about uplifting life and nourishing life? And I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I was so inspired when I came here today, because I've never seen so many people in Los Angeles come together for a trans-Pacific event. Wow. Give yourself a round of applause. And thank you so much for valuing our lives, and keep up the good work.
Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Can I hear you, Los Angeles? My people, can I hear you? I love you so much, and I come to you tonight with a heavy heart. I come to you tonight grieving the loss of our siblings. I come to you grieving the loss of Malaysia Booker, of Claire Legato, of Michelle Simone, and all of the trans people we have lost to unnecessary violence. I have to tell you, I've been walking through the world trying not to. There was a time about 4 or 5 years ago where I was sharing on social media a lot about the murders, the deaths of trans people, and it was usually trans women of color, usually black trans women who were being murdered, and I was always in this space of death and despair, and I just got tired. I got so tired of always being in this space of talking about another trans person of color being murdered in the streets, and far too often no justice being found. And I'm trying to be in this space of positivity. And honestly, what I realized this week is that I am so deeply traumatized by it all that I have just shut down. And finding out about Malaysia this week after witnessing the video of her being brutally attacked over a month ago, and finding out that she was shot dead this week, I just broke. And I imagined that I am not the only one who just broke finding out about that. That how many times can we read about our people being murdered with no justice? How many times? And how many times can we shut ourselves down to try not to feel it, to protect ourselves, to try to just get through another day? And so I had to be here tonight. I knew that if I could somehow surround myself with community, that somehow if I could surround myself with your beautiful faces and souls and spirits, that I could begin to heal. That if we are collectively traumatized, that we can heal collectively, that we can find ways and spaces to heal collectively. And so us gathering here tonight is a way for us to come together and heal from this, because it is deeply, deeply painful, and we have to address the pain, the hurt, and the trauma of this repeated injustice to our communities. And we have to do it together, and that is why I'm here. I've been talking a lot about the 4 eyes of oppression lately, and I didn't know what the 4 eyes of oppression were, so I just found out recently. I was like, oh my God, this is genius. So I've been sharing it and talking about it all the time.
the four eyes of oppression, ideological oppression, the idea that one group of people is better than another.
Yeah.
That idea is keeping trans people as second-class citizens. And we are, I think sometimes we are the best of times and we are the worst of times. This week I saw on social media Lena Bloom at the Cannes Film Festival starring in a movie, and I'm looking at posters all over this city of beautiful trans women of color starring in Pose on FX coming back next month. And India Moore is on the cover of Elle magazine, and trans people are out there more visible than we have ever been before, and I'm so blessed to be a part of that, and that is a beautiful thing. But at the same time that we are on the covers of magazines and starring in television shows, we are being murdered in the streets. We are being banned from the military. We are being denied access to shelters if we are homeless, according to what the HUD announced this week. The Department of Health and Human Services announced today that it is okay to discriminate against transgender people in healthcare. That is the institutional oppression, the second eye of oppression. All of these public policies that reinforce the idea that trans people are less than are happening every single day, and we are here to fight those institutions, and we have been fighting those institutions. I look at you tonight and I think about all the people who fought back 50 years ago at Stonewall, and I know that we are a resilient people and we can continue to fight. The third eye of oppression, interpersonal oppression. How we oppress each other, hurt people. We must deal with the pain that we are feeling so we do not take it out on each other. We have to interrogate our implicit biases and remember that privilege is contextual. In this room, I might be privileged, but I might walk into another room and have not have nearly as much privilege. So we always have to be in a space of interrogating our privilege so that we are not perpetrating interpersonal oppression. And the fourth eye of oppression is internalized oppression. What systems and ideological oppression and interpersonal oppression does to us, where we turn against ourselves and each other. We cannot turn against ourselves. Trans people are anointed. Do you know this about yourselves? Trans people, we are anointed. Everywhere I go, I try to tell trans people that we are anointed. We know that in indigenous cultures all over the world, trans people held sacred places in those communities, and they see our power and they see our light and they want to dim it. We are more visible now than ever, and there is a backlash happening. That is why all these laws are being created. That's why all of these trans people are being murdered, because we have a light inside us that is so beautiful and so bright, and we cannot let them dim our light. We have to do everything we can to take care of ourselves and to address all the ways in which we have internalized oppression, because our lights must shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Are you going to let your light shine? Don't dim your light. You are anointed. You are beautiful. I love you. You are lovable. You are loved. Thank you so much. I love you so much.
We love you. We love you.
I know it's getting dark and cold out here, but that's one look into what our lives are like sometimes. So I just want to leave you with this. We are ready for the work. We are ready. But we do need allies. So we need you. So as much as we roll up our sleeves, we need you to roll up your sleeves. It is about unifying. It is about standing side by side. We have a lot of work to do. So before we let you go, I want you to take out your cell phones, and I want you to go to Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media you use. Follow our organization, the UWC Official, all across the board. We want to be able to call on you, because we will be meeting, we will be organizing, and we will be doing some strategic planning, and we want you at the table. So I want to leave you with this last thing. Freedom is expensive, but must we pay for it with our life? I want you to have a wonderful evening. Hold us in your heart. And I want you to say, we love you. We love you.
We love you.
We love you.
We love you.
We love you.
We love you.
Thank you. Have a very nice evening. I want to thank all of our partner organizations, the Flux Group, Trans Latina Coalition, Gender Justice, LA. Give them all a round of applause for putting their energy behind Black leadership. Thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you to our DJ, Shane. I want to say, well, there are some other folks that helped us get the word out, and so we want to definitely give them some recognition. Karina Samala, for your energy putting us in and talking to City Hall, getting us permits. James from the West Hollywood tab. Dakota from the ACLU. Oh my God, they probably left, but we did have a safety team. So thank you, Dakota. And, I'm sorry, Dakota from ACLU, South Carolina. Adrian for the safety team. And all of you. Thank you. Have a good night.